Good morning, students. Yesterday you already discussing about that is structure of human ear. Continue that structure of human ear. The human ear, it is divided into three main parts: external ear, middle ear, inner ear. The external ear, it is consist of two important parts: pinna and the second important for external auditory meatus or external auditory canal. The second important part, that is middle ear. The middle ear, it is consist of, it is divided into different parts. What is the part? Tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane also known as the eardrum. The second part, that is ear ossicles, malleus, incus, stapes. After them, the next one, tympanic cavity, eustachian tube. These are the parts of the middle ear. Coming to the inner ear, the oval window and it is round window open into the inner ear. The inner ear consists of three semicircular coiled canals. Semicircular canals. Second one, it is highly coiled. The tympanic highly coiled organ is known as a cochlear part. Okay. Today we are going to discussing about the detailed structure of the inner ear and the mechanism of the ear. Mechanism of the ear, how the sound waves are pass into the inside the internal ear. This sound waves are, they will travel through the external ear to the middle ear to the inner ear to the, they will travel into the brain. How they will maintain the hearing as well as balance and equilibrium of the body. Balance the equilibrium of the body. Coming to the today, it is coming to the how the ear, okay, that divide into the external ear, middle ear, inner ear. Coming to the detailed structure of the inner ear. The detailed structure of the inner ear. Coming to the first one, okay, it is the external ear. External ear. The external ear open into the is open into the external ear, open into the external auditory canal. The external auditory canal is open into the oval window. The oval window again is the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane, eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. The eustachian tube is open into the round window, oval window, round window, oval window, round window. This round window, okay, is a cochlear part. This indicate three semicircular canals. 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 First part, penna. First one, penna. It is indicate external auditory canal. It is indicate tympanic membrane or eardrum. It is indicate eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube is indicate round window. Round window. The round window also known as a fenestra ovalis, fenestra rotundus. What is other name? Fenestra rotundus. Fenestra rotundus. This window, this indicate fenestra ovalis. The oval window also is a fenestra ovalis. This tympanic membrane or eardrum, tympanic membrane. This is indicate tympanic cavity. Tympanic membrane, tympanic cavity. This indicate Malleus, incus, stapes. Malleus, incus, Malleus, incus, stapes. 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 Okay, it is the cochlear nerve, vestibular nerve. Vestibular nerve. This part is indicate cochlea. 2 by 3 by 4 of the coil. The human cochlea is the 2 by, it is the 3 by 4 part. These are the 3 semicircular canals. Semicircular canals. Both are indicated. It is open into the cochlear nerve. It is indicated the vestibular nerve. Both are open into the auditory nerve. The auditory nerve open into the brain. The auditory nerve open into the brain. It is the external ear. It is the middle ear. It is the inner ear. It is the under the category of the yesterday topic. Once you revise this topic, okay. After then you can move into the coming to the next important inner ear. What is the next part? Inner ear. It is the yesterday content. Okay. Inner ear. Inner ear. Inner ear. Inner ear. The inner ear is divided into two parts. The inner ear, anatomically, the inner ear, it is nothing but it is made up of tympanic membrane. The inner ear, it is made up of tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane. It is the outer side of the inner ear, bony labyrinth. No. It is a labyrinth. No, nothing. It is a, sorry. Okay. The inner ear, it is made up of labyrinth part. Labyrinth. The inner ear is made up of labyrinth. The outer part of the inner ear, it is made up of bony labyrinth. The inner part of the ear is made up of membranous labyrinth. Bony labyrinth. Bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth. If you observe the internal ear or inner ear, it is outer part, it is made up of bony labyrinth. The inner part is made up of membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth. Okay. This bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth both consist of is the cochlear part, and it is coiled organs. The membranes, bony part and the outer part of the cochlea, it is made up of bony. The inner part of the cochlea, membranous labyrinth. The semicircular canals also. 3 semicircular canals. 3 semicircular canals. The 3 semicircular canals, the outer part, it is made up of bony labyrinth, bony part. The inner part is made up of membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth. The cochlea is made up of, outer part is made up of bony, the inner part is made up of membranous part. The semicircular canals, outer part is made up of bony labyrinth, inner part is made up of membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth. Coming to the structure of this bony parts and this membranous parts of the inner ear. The inner ear, if you draw the representation of the, for example, See, if you observe the inner ear, it is the outer ear. Coming to the next one, what is this one? Outer ear. Next one, middle ear, middle ear, outer ear, middle ear. This one, inner ear, inner ear. Three parts, three bones. Malleus incus stapes. Coming to the inner ear, if you observe this cochlear part, if you observe this cochlear part, if you observe this part, transfer section of this cochlear part, the transverse section of this cochlear part, transverse section of cochlear part. Transverse section of the cochlear part. The transverse section of the cochlear part. The transverse section of this cochlear part. The transverse section, the internal part. If you observe the transverse section, how the cochlear's arrangement. How the cochlear's arrangement. The outer part, it is the bony part. The inner part, membranous part. Membranous part. Coming to the next one. See here. If you observe the cochlear part. Transverse section of this one, cochlear part. Okay, see here. Transverse section of this cochlea, the membranous part and bony parts, how they will arrange it. Please indicate indicate, see here, oval window, please indicate round window, see here, the staph is open into the oval window, this round window open into the middle ear, if you transfer section this cochlear part, transfer section the cochlear part, this it is round, it is oval window open into this part, round window open into the middle ear part. If you observe the cochlear part, the transfer section of this cochlear part, how the arrangement is present, it is always outer part, it is made up of bony labyrinth, the inner part is made up of membranous labyrinth. Coming to here, coming to the this part, see here, this bony part, bony labyrinth, this part indicate membranous labyrinth, is only transverse section of the cochlear part, transverse section of this cochlear part, another section of the cochlear part, outer part bony part, inner part membranous part. This bony part, this cochlear part is divided into the scala vestibule, scala media, scala tympani. See here, this part, scala vestibule, please indicate scala vestibule, please indicate scala media, please indicate scala tympani, membrane, scala tympana or scala tympanic membrane, this cochlear part, it is divided into scala vestibule, scala media, scala tympani. Coming to the here, this scala media, coming to the next one, this scala vestibule, and scala tympani, the outer bony part, it is filled with perilymph. It is filled with perilymph fluid. It is filled with perilymph. It is also filled with perilymph. It is filled with perilymph. It is filled with perilymph. It is also filled with perilymph. Okay, the scala vestibule open into the scala tympani. Scala vestibule open into the scala tympani. It is a small opening duct. It is known as a helicotrema. Helicotrema. It is the opening duct located between the scala vestibule and the scala tympani. With the help of helicotrema, the scala vestibule open into the scala tympani. Okay, coming to the scala media. Scala media. This is scala media. It is indicated scala media. The scala media, it is filled with endolymph. It is filled with endolymph. It is filled with endolymph. See here, membrane spot. It is filled with endolymph. The bony part, it is filled with perilymph. Scala vestibule filled with perilymph. Scala media is filled with endolymph. The scala tympani filled with perilymph. Filled with perilymph. Okay. This scala vestibule, the scala vestibule consists of one important membrane is known as a Resiner's membrane. What is the membrane? Resiner's membrane. Resiner's membrane. Resiner's membrane. Resiner's membrane. Coming to the here, it is the scala media. The scala media, the base of the scala media, is made up of basilisk membrane. Basilisk membrane. Basilisk membrane. The scala media, the base of the scala media, that consists of basilisk membrane. This basilisk membrane consists of the small ridges present in this basilisk membrane. The small ridges present in this basilisk membrane. The small ridges. These are the basilisk membrane. This basilisk membrane consists of the small ridges. The basilisk membrane consists of small ridges. Membrane consists of small ridges. This ridges outer surface. See here. This ridges outer surface. Sensory cells. Outer surface. Sensory cells. Outer surface consists of sensory cells. These sensory cells, tip of the sensory cells. Tip of the sensory cells. See here, tip of the sensory cell consists of sensory hair cells. Sensory hair cells. Sensory hair cells. Sensory hair cells. These hair cells are also known as stereocilia cells. Stereocilia cells. Stereocilia cells. These stereocilia cells, it is the stereocilia cells. Of the stereocilia cells, it is contact with, is embedded with, it is nothing but tectorial membrane. What is a membrane? Tectorial membrane. Tectorial membrane. This air cells contact with this tectorial membrane. This base of this air cells, this consists of sensory neurons. Sensory neurons. Base of these sensory cells consists of sensory neurons. Sensory nerves or neurons. These sensory nerves open into the brain. These sensory cells or neuron cells, they will help you for the hearing process. The transverse section of this cochlear part, This cochlear, it is divided into the bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth. The bony labyrinth, it is filled with perilymph. The membranous labyrinth, it is filled with endolymph. The scala, it is divided into three main parts. The cochlear, it is divided into three main parts. The first part of the cochlear is nothing but scala vestibule. The second part, scala media. The inside the part, it is known as a scala tympanic or scala tympanic cavity or scala tympanic membrane. Once the middle ear open into the inner ear, the middle ear open into the inner ear, the last part of the middle ear, stapes. The stapes open into the oval window. The oval window, it is open into the cochlear part. The round window again open into the tis middle ear part. The transverse section of this cochlear part, it is a highly coiled shape, highly coiled organ. This organ only helpful for the hearing process. The organ of the cochlear. The cochlear are also known as a hearing organ. Hearing organ. How they, once you are transverse section of this cochlear part, it is divided into three main parts: scala vestibule, scala media, scala tympanic. The oval window open into the scala vestibule. The scala vestibule, it is the bony. It is made up of two main parts: outer part, bony part; inner part, membrane part. Outer part, it is the made up of. It is filled with. It is the filled with perilymph. The middle part is known as scala media. It is filled with endolymph. It is filled with endolymph. This entire, it is filled with endolymph. The scala media, it is the base of the scala media consists of basilisk membrane. The basilisk membrane, they consist of the small ridges. They are arranged in the small ridges. The ridges is consist of, it is a sensory cells. The sensory cells, the tip of the sensory cells, the superior surface of the sensory cells contain sensory hair cells. These hair cells are indicate stereocilia cells. These stereocilia cells contact are embedded with the help of the tectorial membrane. Tectorial membrane. Coming to the third part, it is known as the scala tympani. The scala tympani also filled with perilymph. The base of this basilisk membrane, the base of the basilisk membrane, it is consist of neurons or nerve cells. These sensory nerve cells are again open into the brain. Once the sound waves pass into the sound waves, once the penna receive the sound waves, the penna is nothing but external ear. Once the sound waves pass into the penna, the sound waves transmitted and travel through the, that is known as the external auditory meatus. These sound waves pass into with the help of tympanic membrane. The sound waves are enter into the malleus, incus, stapes. These sound waves pass into the oval window. Oval window, they pass into the inner ear. The inner ear consists of the cochlear arrangement organ is known as a cochlear part. Once this transverse section, this part, the inside these cells consist of, that is one important, the specific receptor cells. These receptor cells are nothing but organ of Corti. This receptor cells nothing but organ of Corti. Organ of Corti. Corti is indicated. It is the name of the scientist. The name of the scientist. The organ of Corti means the organ of Corti consists of scala vestibule, scala media, scala tympani. These all are filled with the sensory neurons. The sensory neuron, they receive the sound waves. The sound waves are they again transmitted, they travel, they will change into the hearing mechanism. The main important function of this organ of Corti, this entire part is indicate. This entire indicate organ of Corti. Organ of Corti. Organ of Corti. Corti is indicated, name of the scientist. These organs are filled with sensory neurons. Sensory neurons. Once the sound waves pass into the external ear to the middle ear to the inner ear, this inner ear consists of sensory neurons. These sensory neurons are there participated into the hearing process. Once the sound waves pass into the tympanic membrane to the malleus, malleus to the incus, incus to the stapes. The stapes to this sound waves vibrated into the oval window. These sound waves are passed into the oval into the scala vestibule. The scala vestibule is filled with perilymph. The perilymph, it is vibrated into the resonance membrane. This resonance membrane again vibrated into the scala media. The scala media, again they vibrated, the waves pass into the scala media to the, they pass into the basilisk membrane. The basilisk membrane, again the basilisk membrane and sensory neurons, these sensory neurons they will contact, hair cells contact with the strike to the cantilever strike to the, it is the tectorial membrane. This tectorial membrane, it is the continuously vibrated. This whenever this tectorial membrane is vibrated, they will send message to the sensory neurons. The sensory neuron, they will pass into the brain. The brain will analyze the hearing mechanism. The brain will analyze the hearing mechanism. Organ of Corti, it is a Corti is nothing but name of the scientist. You will identify this. They are inside the hearing mechanism. This entire part is present in the inside the ear. This part is known as the cochlear part. It is the coiled organ. That's why it is indicated hearing organ. This entire part is located inside this. Once you transfer section, this one, okay, you can indicate this entire part. This oval window open into this scala vestibule. The round window again open into the middle ear. This organ of Corti, they are participated into the hearing mechanism. This mechanism first identified by the organ of Corti.